Praise and Production.
Gumbolaya podcast, what up, fam? Ramblin Ant. I have family in the booth. The homie Kenn, Chef Kenny Ray, Kenneth Raymond Hall. Any other names? We're gonna. I know the other names.
you gave my government, dog.
Oh, is that not okay? Do we not do government? I can bleep it out.
That's all right. We good.
I don't think anybody can do anything
I'm not about that world no more. Praise Jesus.
Praise Jesus.
We here.
Chef, race car driver. What are the other titles? What else have you did?
What's the rating for a Gumbolaya podcast?
The rating?
Yeah.
I don't really have a rating.
I want to stay within guidelines. I don't want to get you
no guidelines really. I'm trying not to be like grotesquely explicit. Don't really bother me none.
Okay.
It's all good. But I do know that I do not used to race cars, like, and from what I understand from what you said and what a couple of your homies said, you were pretty good.
So the hood pharmacist, street therapist.
I forgot about that part. Street pharmacist.
Yeah.
We definitely gonna talk about that. But so I met. Okay, so for those of you that don't know him, which is probably most of you, Kenny's one of the besties, one of my best friends, and I met him at our church. So we're having rehearsal. And dude came in, he auditioned and started singing or praising, right? So him and I became friends. But people would always talk about Cupcake Guy, right? But I didn't know it was Kenny. And so Cupcake Guy, right? We had a church picnic and we got there and somebody had these really, really nice cupcake, like if you ordered, 24 cupcakes and they would come in like a box with the clear tops you could see and it's all beautiful and everything, right? Professional stuff, right? So we're looking at the cupcakes and I'm like, oh man, he's totally nice or whatever. And they was like, yeah, Cupcake Guy. I was like, oh, is he here? And they were like, yeah, it's Kenny. And I look over and Kenny's just sitting there. He's like, you the cupcake dude? He was like, yeah, I'm the Cupcake Guy. So if you haven't, do you still take orders? I know you took a break. You took a breather.
I mean, I always tell people, for my loved ones, I got you.
Well, what if somebody ain't your loved one? They just want to buy some cupcakes.
I mean, because of, all of my health issues nowadays, I kind of scale back. So I don't promote myself. But, if it's somebody that is trying to do something for...
What about like small orders? Because like, would your health concerns prevent, like if somebody wanted, 2 dozen, 3 dozen little stuff?
I mean, I can pull it out. I just, my preparation window needs to be greater than before. Like somebody could hit me up and be like, yo, I need this. What's today? Sunday. Mm-hmm. I need this for Tuesday. Nah, I can't do that. Okay. Just because of my prep time and I can't move as fast as before.
Yeah.
So I just need to be able to have a window to
there you go.
I can do it.
There you go. So if you're in the LA area and you need some deliciousness and you got a window.
Just give me, I'll say give me a week.
Chef
just
Kenny Ray,
a week
and they're delicious. A week is not. I don't think that's too much to ask. So here's the thing. What I wanted to ask you. You and I got to know each other talking about food for hours all the time. One of the questions I thought would be cool to talk about. I can't remember if I ever asked you this, but for people who they can do okay in the kitchen, but they want to do more better, right? They want to take a couple steps forward and being able to throw down a little more than average, right? Mm-hmm. What would you say is one of the biggest differences that someone can make with, understanding a concept or two? Like what's something you notice most people don't know that's simple, that if they did, they could take their stuff to the next level? What do you think? Nice.
It's right. Like it's superb.
Superb.
It honestly is a universal narrative. Having a what's the best way to say it? Attention to detail. Taking it, not necessarily saying taking it serious, but if a recipe, if you're on the cooking side, passion and flair comes after repetition. Yeah. And, so don't try to be, Gordon Ramsay, Emeril Lagasse from the beginning. Be you and put you into your food, because your authenticity translates to what you cook.
That makes sense to me. But I think it's because I know how you think. But someone that doesn't know you, how would someone go in the kitchen tonight and put more them into their food?
The practical application of that is when you go to create, and I say create because you're taking nothing and creating something. Yeah. You go to create, you do it with confidence and not without reservation. So do things intentional. Pace yourself. That would be probably the most vital thing for any novice cook. Give yourself time. Don't multitask, which we found out is impossible to do. Don't try to do several things at once. So if you're going to make fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and a vegetable, prep your chicken, fry your chicken, heat your oven to where it's on, preheat your oven to warm, get your chicken done, put it in the oven, and then do your sides. Oh. So you're not panicking and burning your oil.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because we just haven't really gone in talking about food in a long time, but that's probably my biggest struggle. Not anymore. It used to be, but I don't cook as elaborately as I used to. But one of my biggest struggles was trying to cook several things that are very different and have them all come out done perfectly at the same time. Yeah. I don't think I ever really got good at that, but I did try. I got to a point to where, things were coming out about the same time, but it was because I knew, okay, this is done, so I'll put this on low, like you were saying. But I thought it was more betterer to actually try to get the chicken, for example. Why we got to use fried chicken? Why was that your example?
I did it because I assumed our target audience was ethnic.
I don't know. I think it's funny.
And when I talk about ethnic, food, I don't mean black. There's some white folk that can cook better than some.
I'm trying to tell you.
Folk. So
one of the actually Augusta fam, y'all let me know. I think isn't Wife Saver like our fairer skinned brethren and sisterin? So in the South, there's a chain called Wife Saver, and they had pretty decent chicken. It wasn't like legendary, but if you go to the right one, some of it was pretty good. And if I'm not mistaken, I think those were our Caucasoid family. Right. You know what I'm saying?
They're not scared of them seasonings.
I'm saying, some of them are. What? Like, why is that a thing with like white folk and no seasoning? Like every white person I know that cooks, they do the same, you know what I'm saying? Like either they can cook or they can't. Yeah. But I never knew that stereotype until I moved to Los Angeles. Yeah. And then it was a joke, and I understood the joke, but I never encountered it. And then I went to somebody's house and we're having a dinner thing, and they served like this. Salt it was some pepper. Fish, and it was
salt and pepper.
I'm like, yo, this is literally just fish. Yeah. You could have put a leaf on it or something.
It comes down to the aesthetic out here.
Is it a LA thing?
No, it's a Cali thing. It's the health aesthetic. So you have the people who who focus on, cholesterol.
Yeah, not putting stuff in it.
Hypertension, things like that. So the narrative comes down to preparation. So you cook it as is, and then you allow people to do what they want.
That makes sense. I'm pretty sure I've had conversations with people that talk about that stereotype in the Northeast, in the Midwest. And after I left,
Yeah.
I heard the joke about white folk not seasoning food happening in the South, but I never saw it.
Yeah.
And I me, I eat. And so a lot of my friends, like we would do dinners together, go over people's houses or whatever. I'm a hanger.
Yeah.
So I'll be over people's places and, Thanksgiving or whatever, somebody come over, I go over there or whatever. And I never encountered, there were like different dishes.
Yeah.
But I never felt like there was a thing. And then I moved and I'm hearing comedians joke about it and I'm seeing like memes and stuff. And I'm like, is this a thing? I don't know if it's a thing.
I'll say it this way too. It's kind of like any other narrative. The loudest are the ones that I heard.
That's true.
So I've never ran
across it. It might be a
it.
thing. Yeah.
It's like I never ran across it with any of my, my white partners that I would go to their house.
Yeah.
My mom's gonna throw down. But again, these is cats that's in the hood. These is white folks that's, I ain't talking about, in Beverly Hills and stuff like that. So I can't speak on them.
I don't know. I never saw it. I never saw it till I moved. But I want to try one more time. What you're saying makes sense to me in terms of putting passion. Actually, you did go into saying pace yourself, focus on like one thing at a time. Yeah. You would say like individually though, like you wouldn't suggest people ever double up to kind of get to a higher level.
No, because you said what would be the easiest.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I did mean like simplistically because like I got. It surprises me how many people are afraid of the kitchen.
That's what I'm about to say. You get overwhelmed because you're doing too many things at one time.
So start with the one thing.
Perfect example. I know I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's all good.
Anybody who's ever watched the movie Mrs. Doubtfire, when Robin Williams first went in to cook dinner, that is everybody learning how to cook.
Yeah.
So
what a great scene too. But he was a mess.
Yeah.
That's true.
And that on the inside, that's how we feel. We may not be, perceived that way outside, people looking at us, but on the inside, we're panicking. Losing our mind.
Yeah.
Because everything is happening
That's
so fast.
That's happened to me several times.
Right.
I used to have buddies over. I had friends over, when I thought I was doing something. And it's funny, like looking back and, like my early 20s, I was making the craziest, weirdest, not good stuff. And, most of the time,
that's what we do.
Yeah. And I thought I was blessing somebody and you know what I mean? It had the family feeling or whatever. I think the worst, this would be fun, worst dish. So mine, I bought some actual real ramen noodles, not like the cheapy packs or whatever. But I bought some real ramen noodles and I did a chicken and veggie stir fry with ramen noodles. But I used cinnamon, vanilla, and soy sauce.
Wow.
And it was gross.
Wow.
And like
cinnamon and vanilla.
Several of my friends that were there, they were like, it's, they tried it. And then Dolly was like, this is not good.
Yeah. It's always the real one.
Yeah. And she was like, this is not good.
Yeah.
I'm
love
sorry.
you, doll. You see this.
I love her too.
I miss you, baby.
You gotta let her to tell the truth. She was like, No. Versus a couple other friends, they were trying to be nice. So I think that was my worst dish that I can think of. I ate it because I was hungry, but it did not taste good. Worst dish.
It wasn't a dish. It was when we had meeting point. We did the barbecue at I can't remember. Oh my God, I feel bad. I can't remember her name. Oh my God. Well, we had the barbecue and
somebody go to Cuff? Somebody go to CBS?
Yeah, remember when we had
I do remember
the meeting point. It was I can't remember her name. I feel so
I will
bad.
skip it. I don't remember whose house it was either. But I think I can see it. I remember us sitting in the room.
I went to cook the ribs, but what ended up happening was I had to use an outside grill.
Yeah.
And everybody got there late and I tried to rush the ribs.
Oh.
I didn't have time to prep them and they were underdone.
I remember the ribs though.
They was underdone. They was flavorful. Everything was delicious. But
that's your worst?
That's because at that point,
them ribs was good, dude.
Right? But at that point, you got to remember that's when I was still at the top of my game.
Yeah.
So for me, that was my worst meal because everything else, because of raw skill, and this is not being arrogant, it's just by training, you can fix a mistake. Yeah. So I never let that plate leave.
Okay, what about before your training? Like, there was a day when you ain't know what you was doing, right? You ain't mess up nothing, ever?
Worst meal ever. I made breakfast for my mom and my dad.
I remember you told me this. I don't remember the details though.
I was like, yo, I'm about to make this bomb breakfast. Everything else was great. I cooked the bacon perfect, cooked the eggs perfect. Yeah. I made oatmeal. And what do? We put a little cinnamon, put a little brown sugar, put some butter. Well,
in the grits?
No, in the oatmeal.
Okay.
And
I don't know where I get grits from. You did say oatmeal. Yeah.
Where I made the flaw was our spice cabinet was packed. Mm-hmm. I thought I grabbed cinnamon. I grabbed cumin.
Oh, big difference.
Big difference. Yeah. So doctored up the oatmeal, thought it was cinnamon.
Oh, was cumin. Yeah, I cannot even imagine. So your intention was vanilla, cinnamon, and what else?
And you said brown sugar and a little butter, and it was. So I served it up.
Ooh,
that was like,
you didn't taste first.
Yeah, no, it was just me trying to, prepare breakfast for my parents.
For the moms and pops. Yeah.
Man, they went and ate everything and they went to scoop the grits and it was the what was that scene when in the movie where he ate the soup and he was like, ooh, and it started coming out of his mouth. Oh my God, I wish I could I'm gonna figure out the movie. Okay. But it was tasting. Oh, it wasn't that Men in Black when they drank the lemonade.
Oh yeah.
That was the face with the cumin.
Yeah,
and
that's a very strong difference.
I made a very, very valid point to say I'm sorry, and I will never cook your oatmeal again.
What did they say? Like they made the face, but how did it come out? Because remember, I never met your mom, but I did know your pop.
My mom didn't say anything. My dad said, I think you grabbed the wrong spice, son.
Oh.
That's all he said.
Dude.
He was just
that was one of my favorite qualities about your dad. Like, because I told you, most of the people that I've been really close with, they're very direct.
Yeah.
Like, but in a respectful and non aggressive way. They just talk.
Yeah.
And I don't have to try and figure out what they thinking or how they feeling. Just say it.
Right.
And I was your dad. He was like, I think you grabbed the wrong spice, son. Yeah. Because you probably
He didn't make me feel bad. My mom wanted to, but my dad was a very good orchestrator of our circus.
Yeah.
And as she was getting ready to go in, as her comedic self would go, Renee,
hold up now.
I think you grabbed the wrong spice.
The boy is trying. Hold up now. Let's.
So, because I was cooking, like I knew I was supposed to be a cook because at whatever months I was still in a walker. My first injury was I burned my forearm. So it's a little dot now right there. But I
this injury in the kitchen, like once you started training, or even like before?
I was 9 months old.
Oh,
I laid my arm down on the
8 or 9 months.
Yeah, in the walker, just walking around in the little bent the corner to go into the kitchen, following my mama, and my dad was cooking. I laid my arm down on the oven. On the oven door. So, when I got old enough to touch the top of the stove, I was scrambling eggs. Like, I've been cooking since I could walk.
I don't know if I knew that. Like, that, like, it surfaced that young. So, that was always interesting for me to hear people talk about my childhood because, like, my love of music and playing and whatnot, I don't remember not feeling it.
Yeah.
So, to hear uncles and aunts and cousins and my parents and my siblings talk about them seeing me do stuff when I was a little kid. I mean, it's cool to hear, but I wasn't conscious. You remember, or did someone tell you that? Because I feel like memory doesn't develop until like 2 or 3.
Well,
or did somebody tell you that happened?
No. Well, I remember that trauma. Like,
you remember being 9 months?
Not remember being 9 months. I remember that injury.
Okay.
I remember.
I guess there's something hurt. I don't remember. I think I remember reading that lasting memory, like conscious memory, doesn't formulate until like 2 or 3 for most people, but trauma would be different. And I don't know. So anybody's watching, if you know something like that, please say something, because I don't be knowing.
I know this is like all over the place, but my cognizance started really early. This because of my trauma in my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember, like, when I was 1, I remember playing with my cousin who passed away as a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
that had already passed away?
Yeah, he passed. Like, we came up together. Like, he was I'd say about 10 months older than me, I believe. I think that's what it was. He wasn't an entire year older than me. So we basically was like brothers.
Mm-hmm.
My aunt had him, my mom had me right after. They raised us together for that first couple of years of his life and first year of my life. So I remember all of that. Like, I remember, vividly, how we would, play in our playpen, or it's just called a playpen. We play in the playpen, and, I remember us like having that baby dialogue and, conversing about whatever. And, I remember that attachment. I remember the hurt when I found out that he was gone.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
You think that's where a lot of your content comes from? Because you seem to do really well, and you seem to very easily find a way to like embody characterizations of like spiritual things in a lot of the TikToks and stuff that you do. For those that don't know, you should look him up on TikTok. So Kenny does a lot of like TikTok content, and a lot of it's hilarious, and a lot of it's very thought provoking, and you should check him out. Is it the same tag, KHALL.me?
Yeah.
On TikTok as well.
Yeah. Both
on TikTok and Instagram. And my favorite is, let me borrow $20 to the bar. Yeah. That is by far, if I can find it, I'll like cut it into this episode. But that is by far my favorite. I mean, do you think that that's where like your personification of spiritual matters comes from? Is just having those occasions where you like felt presence, and things like that?
Wholeheartedly.
Yeah?
Wholeheartedly. I am extremely sensitive to that side of me.
Yeah.
And
was anybody else in your family like along that lines, or just you?
No, just me. And it's due to, like I said, it's due to the trauma. The kind of the jolting of it. Like the Constantine effect, dumping into the water, and the baptism by fire type thing. Yeah. Because I was exposed to a lot just from birth. Like I told you, what the heck is it called when the baby had the bowel movement and swallowed it? Like I was born dead. Like they pulled me out.
Hold up. Baby swallowing boo-boo?
Yeah, like I had my first bowel movement. Like I was late. Like I
don't know about that.
Yeah, I had my first bowel movement in my mom, and they had to have an emergency C-section because I flatlined.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
And but how are you saying? I have to look that up. I've never heard of this, so I'm very ignorant on that. But your point is that did what now?
I feel like that is why I'm so in tune with the spiritual realm.
Yeah.
Because I was basically thrust back into reality after death. Like, you know how people be like, oh, I got a second chance at life after they've lived.
Yeah.
I ain't even started living yet. So I kind of came in with that tether of, my guardian angel. Yeah. And it just kind of manifested itself into everything else. As far as the way I like the way I view things. Like I always tell you, I can find God in anything.
Yeah.
I say that, but I wholeheartedly mean that because.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I see that in your content. Like that's what's like, it's interesting to know you as a person and to kind of see how you present your thoughts through your skits and stuff. Because you do, like, you'll find what's cool about Kenny's content. For those of you that haven't seen it, you should check out his channel. Is it called a channel on TikTok? Yeah. His account. Yeah, account. But you'll find snippets of stuff that has nothing to do with God, and you'll present it in a way where your point makes sense. But to me, there was no connection before you were like, think about it like this. And you'll personify different aspects of the narrative in characters, and you'll use the words to kind of tell that story. I thought it was cool. Like, because like, to me, those are the ones that stuck out the most, other than the ones that just make me laugh, you know, because that stuff is funny. But the fact that you can kind of spin stuff has always been fascinating. And you feel like that's like an innately different connection to spiritual things?
For me, yes, because when I hear things, I always have this urge to find biblical reference. Yeah. And it's not like I want to. It's kind of like when you're driving in a car and you hear a lick and you're like, dude, I can, if that was a sample, it can be manifested into it. And you just create this whole musical foundation off of, like I said, a lick. Or you'll hear a chorus or something that reminds you of something back in, 93. Yeah. And you're just like, what is that? I remember that that reference. Yeah. It's an unconscious response that you have to a passion that you're passionate about. And for me, it's a blessing and a curse, so to speak, because I ran from my spirituality for so long because it terrified me. Yeah. To be able to see these things or manifest these things. So when I create, it's my therapy. Yeah. It's, like I need to do this on my page and kind of reintroduce myself and give context to why I create the way I create. Because everything I put up is my narrative with my daily interactions with God and, my struggles in life and my stumbles, my accomplishments, my milestones, everything like that. And it's directly tethered to, what I was brought into this world with, which is, it's fascinating to me now. It was terrifying to me then. Actually, it wasn't even terrifying. It was annoying and frustrating. It was the curse side of it because I felt so different. Yeah. Living in a world, growing up the way I grew up in the hood, it was banging. It was survival of the fittest. It wasn't no Jesus. Yeah. So everything I did, I had that. Like
at all? There's like nobody in your area, nobody in the family, like nobody was.
Well, family. God-centered. Yeah. My family was, but, those of you that don't know, growing up in LA, and the easiest reference for y'all would be Compton. I didn't grow up really in Compton. I grew up in something called unincorporated LA County.
Unincorporated. I had never heard of that till I met you.
It's a triangle of all the bad hoods. Yeah. So I had it on all sides. Yeah. And I didn't see positivity that way. Yeah. I saw the jaded version of positivity. I saw positivity as in the come up. Yeah. How fast can I come up? Who can I use as a stepping stone? All of those different narratives. Yeah. And then my family was the hypocrites. My family, I love y'all if y'all ever see this, whatever. But, it was the stereotypical Christian, narrative. Yeah. You put on the fancy clothes, you got the brooches, you got the big phrases, hats, all of the phrases. Do the gestures. Yeah. And then you come out and you're smoking a Newport. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you arguing. Yeah. And it's like, well, you were just praising God and shouting and speaking in tongues, and now you're about to burn somebody with a Newport butt. So it's like
people burning somebody with a cigarette.
It's just that's how it was. Just
but like, $5 you owe me,
right? So for me, I'm like, man, I ain't about all of that. So whenever I had those spiritual encounters, I would like push them away. Yeah, I want to be like them. Yeah. I don't.
That makes sense.
I don't want to represent that.
Well, where's the page now? Like I remember you celebrated some milestones. Like where you know where your numbers are now? You been looking? You pay attention to stuff like that?
You talking about on TikTok?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no, I don't.
I've never had like that strong of a because I don't focus on social media. I guess I should. I just don't think about it until I'm talking to somebody and they're like, yeah, so where's your social media at? I'm like, I don't know, man.
I mean, I have right now, I think I got like 10.6 thousand followers. But that, with what I do, I feel like if I would be more invested, which is something that I struggle with right now because of depression and just everything that's going on with my life. If I would have been on my grind, I would probably be 100 plus thousand. I mean,
I follow what you mean, but like 10 plus that's still an incredible accomplishment.
Yeah, I don't turn my nose up at it because I have mutuals on there that have been doing it for 2-3 years longer than me and don't even have 1,000 followers.
I'm saying.
So I thank God for him, bringing...
That's 10,000 people that's kind of listening to you talk.
Right.
I think I got 12.
Maybe. But that's 12 that are actually engaging with you. That's rocking with you. So
what's funny, most of the people, what's my time? Oh, we got to cut. You know what? We'll cut here and then we'll resume. So cut. See you later. Like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Right. Get me above 12. This dude got 10 million followers. I got 12. Y'all help a brother out. Peace.
If it's my time, then it's my time. Worry about yours, 'cause I got mine. 'Cause I got mine. Worry about yours, 'cause I got mine. 'Cause I got mine. Praise and production.